AITAA for taking my niece to court over a coat? I, 28F, have a niece, 16F. She is my only sister's only child. 2 years ago I married a very wealthy man, 34M. And because of the pandemic, last Christmas was my first with my in-laws. My mill gifted me a coat that is worth more than $20,000. I saw her wearing it, asked her where she bought it, and she said that it will be my Christmas gift from her. I didn't know how much it was, I knew it was expensive, but I thought maybe $3,000 at most. I was visiting my sister last January when my niece saw it. She Googled the brand and showed me how much it really was. I won't lie, I didn't wear it after that because I was afraid of ruining it. Last week, I wore it while visiting my sister. While I was putting it back on to leave, I felt something go splat on my back, then my niece started cackling and the smell of paint hit me. I was so pissed off while she was not apologetic at all. Her mom screamed at her and said she was grounded. Then she said she will pay for the dry cleaning. While I was in my car, still in shock BTW, I got an alert that my niece posted a reel. It was of her doing a prank on me, and she said, "I'm going to hit my aunt's $20,000 coat with a paint-filled balloon to see how she reacts." I saved it on my phone, sent it to her mom and told her that a week's grounding is not enough. She did not reply, but I saw that my niece took it down. It got less than 5 views by then. The next day I found out my coat cannot be saved, so I called my sister and told her that her daughter has to pay it back. Well, we got into an argument and she said that they will not be paying it, and if I wanted a new one, I should get my husband to buy it for me. I think that they should pay for it, they can afford to. In my opinion they should sell my niece's car and pay me back my money. We did not reach an agreement, so I told her that I will be suing, and reminded her that I have video evidence that her daughter A. did it on purpose for online clout and B. knew exactly how expensive it was. People in my life are not objective at all. I have some calling me an aw, some saying they are the awes for not buying me a new one, and some so obsessed with the price of the coat that they are calling me an asshole for simply owning it and wanting a new one. So am I the asshole? Edit. Sorry for not making it clearer, but my coat was bought new, just identical to my MIL's. Not the asshole. She ruined a $20,000 coat. She wasn't even apologetic. Not the asshole. This is a really good way for your niece to learn that actions have consequences and hopefully will serve her well in the future, when she's older. And your sister seems to need that lesson too, sounds like. Just have your husband buy you a new one, is not an appropriate reaction to your kid destroying a $20,000 item. Honestly, not the asshole. Actions have consequences and you are right, a week's grounding isn't enough. She should sell her car and cough up the money. The niece is old enough to know better. Tell your sister either she comes up with the money or you take it to the cops. I wonder if a police report will force the insurance company to come up with the money. This wasn't an accident, it was intentional and she won't do it again. This reminds of the idiots gluing themselves to paintings to fight climate change. Am I the asshole for not comforting my wife after my daughter told her she's not her mom? I have 3 children, 15, 11 and 3. My, 35, partner, 28, have been together 10 years. We have 50-50 custody of the 2 eldest. Nearly 4 years ago we had a rough patch and a one-night stand is what led to my youngest being born. We've got full custody, but my wife is all she knows as her mother. All children call my wife their mom. She's a great parent. She got the eldest into gymnastics and swimming. She does their homework with them and they're really close, it's nice to see. It's hard to explain exactly how she's a good parent. She just is. We found out we were expecting 8 months ago, and this caused our youngest to start acting out. Nursery teachers told us it was completely normal for young children to regress when big news happens. 7 months into our pregnancy we lost the baby. It upset me, but it's completely devastated my wife. She acts like everything's normal, but she's crying herself to sleep. I don't have the emotional bandwidth anymore, I'm exhausted. We just lost a child, not just her. I'd been trying to get ready for work, while my wife got the youngest ready, and I guess we were having a rough morning because I heard my youngest tell my wife, "You're not my mom, you don't love me," obviously not exact wordings. It's not the first time she's told my wife this, we don't even know how the youngest knows this. I went to work. When I came back the eldest told us that my wife dropped youngest off at nursery and then locked herself in our room. And apparently had been crying for a few hours then left. I messaged her and got told, "Thanks for helping me this morning, I'm staying at my mother's." I'm not in the mood to help with your child at the moment since you don't help me, tell her I'm her mother. Youngest deserves to know her background. We've tried to explain to her stepmother etc., but she's young, she'll understand when she's older. I explained that I had work, she's handled it before but I've been left on read. I apologized, didn't realize she was so unhappy but said at the end of the day youngest lost her sibling too and it's been a difficult transition, we're looking into family counseling. I did say I'd appreciate her not having eldest witness her being this upset next time as she's still a child. If I've left any info out I'll answer, hands are greasy and it's hard to type. It was a casual morning, she usually handles getting them ready and we've had issues like this before that she's handled. Honestly sometimes hearing things like this has become white noise now because I know my wife can handle it when I've got to work. Edit. The reason I say not to be as upset in front of my eldest is because eldest went to her biological mum and told her she was worried about her mum, my wife. Which I don't think is fair. Am I the asshole? Downplaying your cheating, and downplaying your wife's trauma, and blaming her for not being entirely composed after she had a late-term miscarriage? Have you always been so selfish and neglectful? Your wife is so obviously struggling with a serious depressive crisis, and you're just completely neglecting that. I'm wondering at all your other delightful behaviors. You are the asshole. So this woman takes care of 3 children that aren't hers, is an excellent mother to them, and you can't even stick up for her when your little cheat baby is cruel to her? Damn. You are the asshole. Major. She deserves so much better. Info. So you cheated on your partner of 10 years and this resulted in the 3-year-old? Am I the asshole for deciding to skip my stepson's wedding and stay home with my children? I have been married to my husband for 25 years. He has 2 children from his first marriage. Kai, who is 28, and Mia is 27. My husband's first marriage ended during the pregnancy with Mia when his ex moved another man into their home. She told my husband to leave and she was planning to marry the other guy. A DNA test was done when Mia was born, and another was done on Kai later. Custody was decided and the divorce was finalized when Mia was still a baby. I met him 6 months later and we married after a year together. My husband's ex made our lives hell. She alienated the kids from me. We were in and out of court, therapy. They were always placed in mediation and co-parenting classes to try and get them to a better place. Nothing helped. Her second husband left and that only made her worse. Then she married again but that also ended. My relationship with my stepkids breaks my heart. I love them. I have always tried to be a respectful and loving stepparent who doesn't talk bad about their mom, overstep my place or assume they would love me the same as their parents. But I hoped we would be close. They have been rude or distant and cold. But I loved them regardless and my husband took the lead with them. When my husband and I had our own 2 children together they did not bond with them but we still hoped time and therapy would help some kind of relationship form. Now my stepson is due to get married. He told my husband our kids were not invited since it was a child-free wedding. But then he told me what I could not wear, because the 2 mothers were going to match the theme and I am not counted in that. That I would not be given a corsage to wear so people would know I was not one of the parents. He said I would not be mentioned in any of the toasts. I was not welcome to give a toast. That the photos with the parents and immediate family would not include me and after my husband asked him why he was making such a big deal out of this he said I needed to know my place and then admitted he didn't even want me there. So I made the decision not to attend and instead stay home with my children. I have reached a breaking point where I just no longer see a future where we might get along better and clearly I am not wanted at all. But my husband's family are furious and say I was invited so I should go. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You are giving him the gift he wants, you not there. Don't put yourself through it. Take your kids on vacation. Not the asshole. Your husband's son, because that's what he is realistically, has told you the role you play in his life, what his expectations for your attendance at the wedding and that he doesn't want you to go. An invitation is just that, an invite, and you are free to accept or decline as you see fit. If you are not comfortable going, then do not go. It doesn't serve you, your husband or his son anything if all parties are on edge. Am I the asshole for telling him to leave? My son, Jimmy, is 17 and he dropped out of school, said, doesn't feel like attending anymore, and told me privately he doesn't want to get a GED and I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. My husband, Evan, works every day. He's a doctor, he's always on call and recently has been asking my son what he's doing after high school and Jimmy just changes the question and it started to get heated last month with arguments. Last night I got home and Jimmy's stuff was being picked up by his girlfriend, Rose. And I asked Rose what was happening and she said Evan kicked him out and I was mad. I walked in the house and me and Evan started arguing and I said, "Why did you kick him out?" And Evan said, "You didn't tell me he dropped out, you told me he got suspended, he just wants to live off us and I'm not having it." So I said, "School or kicked out?" And he said kicked out. I told Evan to leave and he tried to say let's talk it out, but I kicked him out. My mother called me saying Evan was right. My sister said Evan overstepped his bounds, but a majority of my family is on team Evan. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole. Why did you not tell him about your son dropping out of school? His response is reasonable. Why should your son just live off you and have no expectations? Told me privately he doesn't want to get a GED and I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. You didn't know what to say? How about what prompted dropping out? What is your plan? What are you thinking of doing instead? What career options have you considered? How will you support yourself? Just for starters. I get that not everyone is academic, and that many tradespeople make an excellent living. But a kid just deciding to drop out of high school has probably not thought things through. It's your job as a parent to at least try to make sure they become a fully functioning adult, not just stand on the sidelines.